Adiola brought a new perspective to this issue in Venezuela. She did a thorough job, and it was more or less like an eye-opener, to a different side of the whole show, which most people have not really looked into. Let us watch that particular video, and at the end of the day, let's have your thoughts rolling in the comment section. I know say CIA and CIA director will find this video quite interesting. Let's get your thoughts rolling at the end of the day. See you around.
Happy New Year, my people. 2026 will be great. Sorry that I didn't do a lot of posting about New Year. Both kids were sick, but we're doing well. So that's why I didn't post a lot. Anyways, real quick, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, it is free. All it does is to let you know whenever I upload a new video. So please click that subscribe button. First and foremost, the US dropped all kinds of bombs at the capital of Venezuela around 2 a.m. on Saturday. Father, oh bad. They arrested their president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife and flew them out of their own country to the US to try them. What? Is it legal to go into a sovereign country, remove their president? Doesn't this violate international laws? Like, to put this in perspective, can Nigeria, for example, go into Ghana? Sorry, my Ghanaian people. Okay, let me not use Ghana because... Can Nigeria go to Togo? Sorry, my Togolese people, I love you guys as well. But can Nigeria, or let me say, can Tinubu go into Togo, drop bombs, arrest their presidents, and then run things from there without even taking permission from the parliament in Nigeria? Now, before I go far in this video, please try and watch till the very end, where I will talk about how this concerns us as Africans. I'm sorry that it's a long video, but please try and watch to the end. I beg of you. First and foremost, I cannot stress enough that a lot of Venezuelans are happy and they are celebrating that the US removed their president. Or more people are out on the street. You need to see videos. They are dancing, they are rejoicing. You have to understand where they are coming from. The man has been a dictator. Venezuela dropped 42 places in press freedom index since he became president, and under his administration, thousands of people have died in extrajudicial killings in Venezuela, and about 7 million Venezuelans have been forced to flee their country because of rampant violence, because of inflation, gang warfare, soaring crime rates, as well as shortages of food, medicine, and essential services, even shortage of fuel. People were queuing for fuel in Venezuela, the country with the largest oil reserves. We'll still get to that. Like, how? Make it make sense. Also, after losing the last election in July of 2024, this man refused to step down. He got himself third time by fire by force. So he's not a good president at all. And that's why Venezuelans are happy. Although you should also know that life becoming difficult in Venezuela is also due to Venezuela being under significant international sanctions, primarily by the United States, targeting its oil sector.
Oil prices have spiked after US President Donald Trump announced a full and complete blockade on all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela.
President Donald Trump intensified sanctions on Venezuela in August 2017. According to Venezuela, the U.S. government has frozen $5.5 billion of Venezuelan funds in international accounts in at least 50 banks and financial institutions. Even if Venezuela could get the money abroad, the U.S. has threatened to sanction foreign companies for doing business with the country.
And so millions of Venezuelans have been seeking refuge in neighboring countries and beyond. When the whole population is like 29 million, imagine 7 million people fleeing.
Hundreds of thousands of homes are out of water, and U.S. sanctions are blocking the country from acquiring new pumps, motors, pipes, and replacement parts. Some residents here say they've been without running water for a year and a half.
You can't blame the Maduro government, but as for the United States, this Donald Trump is mean. He's mean and he's blocked a lot of things.
But another thing you should know about Venezuela is that it just so happens to be the country with the largest oil reserves in the world, in the entire world. Venezuela holds the world's largest proven oil reserve, estimated at around 303 billion barrels. Nigeria has 38 billion, to put it in perspective. US has more than 60 billion. In short, Venezuela has more oil than the US, than Iran, than Saudi Arabia. Venezuela's oil is roughly 17 to 20% of the global total oil reserve. And with with a population of 29 million, they should be the richest country in the world. They should really be doing well than Dubai and all that. But because of corruption, because of mismanagement, the people have suffered a lot. Now back to the US. For so long, the US has been telling us that they are going after the president of Venezuela because he's into drug trafficking. They didn't say because of what. They said because he's into drug trafficking, and that because he works with gangs that have been designated as terrorist organizations.
Tonight, the U.S. has formally marked Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro and his government allies as members of a foreign terrorist organization, accusing Cartel de los Soles of trafficking drugs into the states.
But some people were confused about that, mainly because, just last month, December 2025, Trump pardoned the former president of Honduras, Yan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted of drug trafficking. I mean, this man was sentenced to 45 years in a U.S. federal prison for charges related to importing cocaine into the U.S., and Trump pardoned him.
President of Honduras, and he was released from prison
I
yesterday.
did. Well, he was the president, and because he was the president, they went after him. That was a Biden horrible witch hunt, which was, a lot of people in Honduras asked me to do that, and I did it. I feel very good about it. If you have some drug dealers in your country and you're the president, you don't necessarily put the president in jail for 45 years. That was a Biden-inspired witch hunt.
But he invaded Venezuela saying because their president is into drug trafficking. So that excuse didn't sit well with a number of people. Also, I'm about to play a video. This is not AI. This video is by CBS. On the 17th of December last month, this is the president of the U.S. talking about Venezuela.
Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had, they took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching. But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
Okay, so is this about drug trafficking? Is this about ending terrorism in Venezuela? Is this about helping the people of Venezuela who are suffering, or is this about oil? Also, I was wondering what he meant by we have a lot of oil there. I was wondering what he meant by our oil rights, our land. Can another country own the oil in another country? Can another country own the land in another country? Because when Trump said this was what their president said in response.
Well, President Nicolas Maduro says he won't let the US take what belongs to Venezuela.
And what happened yesterday and today when the government of the United States says that it belongs to them and that the Venezuelans are stealing their oil. So Venezuela's oil belongs to them. The Venezuelan minerals and gold belong to them. And what we've never heard before, that the Venezuelan land belongs to them and that we must give them back immediately. Honestly, it's a warlike and colonial intention.
Okay, so what I found about this whole drama, who owns oil, who doesn't own oil in Venezuela, was that the U.S. oil companies had been operating in Venezuela for decades, for a really long time. And in the course of them doing that, they've actually made significant investments in their oil sector in Venezuela. So things that the government of Venezuela was supposed to do that they did not do, American oil companies were doing them. Although Venezuela never actually signed over ownership of its oil rights, U.S. companies were instrumental in building Venezuela's oil industry, making it a major global supplier. So then in 1976, Venezuela now decided that they wanted to take back full control of their oil industry. They nationalized their oil industry, and later in 2007 as well, transferring ownership and management to a state-owned entity so that they could assert sovereignty, so that they could control revenues, so that they could use their oil money to fund national projects. And of course, America did not like that. They had invested, so they wanted control, and that's when they started sanctioning the country. I'm going to start by saying that there are some things that one should never outsource. I mean, some of these projects that our leaders in Africa will sign ownership to foreign companies, to foreign countries for like 30 years, like 90 years. The time will come that you will try to take it back, and it will be difficult. I hope that African leaders are paying attention to what is happening in Venezuela, especially as we invite China and other powerful nations to help us develop our countries. I'm not accusing China of anything. I'm just saying that don't be quick to give access to our natural resources, thinking that you will easily get back full control. When the U.S. started surrounding Venezuela before dropping dropping the bombs, China actually sent delegates to Venezuela the day before the US dropped the bombs to discuss strengthening relationships, partnering, and right there, people were like, oh, okay, so everybody wants the oil. In fact, the Chinese delegates were still in Venezuela when the US dropped the bombs. Now, after arresting their president, flying him to the US, Trump did a press conference the morning of Saturday, and there he said, we are going to run the country for now.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind.
Okay, so what does that mean? If America is running Venezuela, who will be running America? Is that even legal? Doesn't this violate international laws? Please make it make sense. The one that I'm trying to understand the most is his last sentence.
We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind.
Because a lot of people have been asking, okay, so is this about the good of the Venezuelan people? Because remember the Venezuelan opposition leader that won the Nobel Peace Prize, that woman, Maria Machado. Yes, Trump really wanted that Nobel Peace Prize, but she won it and she dedicated it to Trump. Do you remember? This woman has been praising him for a very long time, and just like many Venezuelans, she also celebrated when the US dropped the bombs and arrested their president. She was one of the people that had been asking the US to come and help them. So naturally, many people were assuming that she would now be allowed to take over the affairs of her country, considering that this woman won the primary by a landslide, more than 70%. And when the ousted president saw that she won the primary, he now prohibited her from running at the general election because he knew that she would win. However, the opposition member that they allowed to run, the person that she backed, won that election, but everybody knew that it was supposed to be her. Although the opposition member that won was also not allowed to get into office. In fact, he's presently in exile. He had to run for his life. So clearly the people of Venezuela want this woman in power. So after removing their president, reporters were asking Trump at this same press conference if they've been in touch with this woman, so that she could take over. I mean, he just said that he wants to make sure that whoever will take over will be somebody that has the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. And so people were asking, okay, so have you been in touch with this woman? Because clearly her people want her. And this is what he said.
The location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
What? Hold on. Somebody take my drink. What's that? Please, make it. I'm trying to understand. You should see how they were celebrating this woman in her country. It is also one of the reasons why she won the Nobel Peace Prize, because she's been standing up against the dictator for a really long time. The people in Venezuela love this woman. What does it mean by she doesn't have the respect? She doesn't have the support? I don't get it. Make it make sense. Now, the sad thing is, this woman has done nothing but praise Trump, even dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to him. What? Now, the interesting thing is, while talking about running things in Venezuela, on the same day that he removed the president of Venezuela, he now said that Venezuela has not been pumping oil as they should, that they've not been producing oil as they should. So the US companies will go in the same day that they remove the president. Let me let you guys watch this.
We're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Okay. So this was the same day. This was the same day, y'all. This was the same day. So on one hand, you have Venezuelans who are happy, who are celebrating the toppling of a dictator because the guy was a dictator. And then on another hand, you have people asking questions. Is this legal? Especially because Trump did not seek authorization from the US Congress before invading another country. Now, how does this concern us as Africans? Of course, you have some Africans condemning what happened in Venezuela, but you also have some Africans that are happy about what happened in Venezuela. In fact, some Nigerians are saying that their president, Nigerian president, should be next. Not me, of course. They are saying that they want Trump to run things in their country. At the same time, you have some Africans who are asking questions like, okay, if this is about going after dictators, why hasn't he seen Paul Biya of Cameroon? He's 92. He will be 93 next month. He's been in power for the past 43 years. And what about Fonyan Sigbe of Togo, who has been in power for 20 years plus? I think he'll be 21 this year. His father was also in power for 38 years. And so they are asking, is it because those countries don't have oil? Or what does a country need to have for the US to be interested in helping them? And is it legal to go into a sovereign country, remove their president, and then run things in that country instead of giving power to the person that the people of that country want? But this is what I think, and I'm sorry that it took so long to get here. This is where I actually wanted you to watch. This is exactly why I'm doing this story. I think that as Africans, it is time that we start demanding that our officials must always make public anything that is significant, any significant thing that they sign with foreign companies or foreign countries. Because right now, Nigeria is battling with illegal gold mining by foreigners. It's not just gold, by the way. Ghana has also been facing this, so it's not just Nigeria. Ghana has been facing this for a long time as well. And a lot of times, they don't just come in. Some government officials sign something with them, and then at some point they become too powerful to be regulated. Every now and then they tell us that they arrested some Chinese nationals, some Lebanese nationals, illegally mining gold in Nigeria. And then we don't hear anything after that. You know, another example, recently, Rwanda and Congo signed a peace deal with the US mediating. Do the citizens of Congo and Rwanda know the details of what was signed? I mean, we need to start asking questions. Nigeria and China have signed numerous contracts for infrastructure, for energy, for defense, in billions of dollars. So do we as citizens know the details of many of the things that our officials have signed? I think that it should be mandatory for the people to know the details of what was being signed. And you know, sometimes they make these things public, but people don't pay attention. It is time for us to start paying attention. Now, more importantly, African officials need to know that when you don't do the job for which you were elected or appointed, or for which you forced yourself on the people, when you don't do your job, you give an open invitation for foreign invasion. Nigeria is a really good example. It is because our government has refused to take care of terrorism in Nigeria. That is why the US said that they will. And whether you like Trump or not, he actually gave Nigeria some time to do the right thing. He said if Nigeria continues to allow the killings, US will go in. I'm not saying that it is right or that it is not right, but I'm just saying, what did Nigeria do? Our government was more concerned about protecting the image of Nigeria than saving lives. Nigerian government spent weeks after Trump's tweet. They spent weeks trying to convince the world that it is not only Christians that are being killed. And people were like, just shut up and protect lives. Whether it is Christians, whether it is non-Christians, do something. No, they did not. Oh, our misplaced priority is sickening. We were still doing interviews about how it is not only Christians. When Trump dropped bombs in Nigeria on Christmas Day, it took some days, but Arise News confirmed later that the bombs by the US killed some terrorists in Tangaza in Sokoto State, and so many of them left. But you know, the question is, why should it take America to come and kill terrorists in our own country? But more importantly, we need to understand that America cannot save us. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about what happened this weekend in Kasunwandaji village in Niger State, where gunmen went in there and they killed at least 30 people. Some villagers are saying that 37 people were gunned down. Until now, we don't know how many people were kidnapped from that village. And this is happening after America has dropped their bomb. Now, America has moved on. They have other things to focus on. They are putting America first. Venezuela is their focus right now. For how long would we expect America to be the one to come and save us? And this is why we want our leaders to do the right thing. So even though we have some Nigerians that are happy that the US dropped bombs in Nigeria on Christmas Day, a lot of Nigerians are upset. They feel like Nigeria as a sovereign country, the US shouldn't just come and drop bombs. But our government is not doing what they are supposed to do. That is the point that I'm trying to make. Trump said that he worked with Nigerian intelligence, by the way. So it was Nigerian government that told them where to bomb. And people were like, why didn't Nigerian government just bomb those places themselves? Because when you refuse to do well by your own people, others can easily come in. They will have a lot of reasons to come in, and then you won't have a say in what they can or cannot do. Again, I'm not saying that you should not condemn the U.S. invasion of Venezuela, but when you are done condemning the U.S. invasion of Venezuela, we need to talk to our leaders. If we don't want the same thing happening in our own countries as well, they need to sit up, they need to do the right thing. Do well by your own people. When you don't do well by your people, it is your people that will be the first to give you up. Right now, there are so many Nigerians online that are saying Tinubu should be next. Trump should come and run things in Nigeria. If our leaders are doing well, Nigerians will not be wishing for Trump to come and run things. Hopefully, I'm making sense to somebody. That is the point that I'm trying to make. Now, before I conclude, please mark your calendar, because this year, 2026, we will do a lot of work on ourselves. We are starting the year right. On Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 10th, please join me live. I'm bringing a seasoned attorney, Ms. Jacobs, to talk to us about preparing legacies. See, I don't want to say will, because some people will automatically think about death. No, she will talk about will, she will talk about trust, the difference between will and trust, why it is very important for you to take care of this now that you are alive and healthy. We're not saying anybody will die, but it is very important for you to take care of your business so that you can actually enjoy life, knowing that your children, your loved ones will not suffer. So honestly, it's actually not hard at all. And there are even ways that you can do it by yourself if you join us during the live session. And you may think that you don't have much. Even your couch is something. You'll be surprised. This woman will talk about the furniture in your house. I attended a lecture that she gave. I was like, oh my goodness, please, I need all my viewers to hear this. So please join us live so that you can ask our questions. So join us on the 10th. And then on the 17th, we will be talking about finances with Money Africa. I've brought them on the show before. You guys know them. You love them. And then we'll start our life insurance series. Now, I'm really curious as to how you guys dissect what just happened in Venezuela. Do you want Trump to come and run your country? Guys, subscribe if you're yet to share this video, by the way, so that others can know ahead of time and join us for the live shows. All right, y'all, it's Miriam. I'm keeping it up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, I'm with you all. Yeah. Peace out.